Okay, here's a look at my collection of the Autobot Springer, and I want to just go over them as quickly as I can because I want to share my thoughts and opinion on the newest Springer that I just got today, which is by X-Transbots, and share some of my thoughts on here. But like with all my other character collections, I always start off with the very beginning. So here is the original G1 Springer, and you can see it's not cartoon accurate. He has a yellow chest, he has gray forearms, which should be green, but this is what the character was based off of, and so I'll just leave it at that. And then after G1 there was the C.H.U.G. There was no C.H.U.G made, official C.H.U.G made for Classics, NK, Universe, Generation. So that's where a third party made their version of Springer. This is by Fans Project. So at the time, this was you know, a figure that was sought out, even though there's a lot of, you know, issues with it, like it can't stand very well, but you know, that was the quality of third-party figures early on. And then before the Generation Springer, there was actually a Universe Springer, which was a repaint that I actually had, and I sold it at the yard sale, which I'm regretting now after doing my videos, because I think that would have fit in perfectly with my C.H.U.G line. But after that, then they were starting to remake the original toys that didn't look like the cartoon, but you know, were designed to resemble the cartoon, but they were putting in a lot of details. So this is actually the third repaint of this mold, because there was first the Hasbro one, which I'm giving away, that has a yellow chest that was based off the toy, and then the Takata version, which was a little bit more cartoon accurate, and then this version, which is a little bit more cartoon accurate with that green chest. So yeah, I decided I want to keep this Springer. But then after that, the evolution from G1 to C.H.U.G to these remake with details, then they came the War for Cybertron. Then this really started trying to make it look much more like the cartoon. So you can see the green chest, the yellow on the bottom, the yellow shoulders. And this actually is a really nice toy. I mean, the fact that you could transform into 3 modes, it's really amazing. Now, the new Legacy version, I think is really horrible because they're basing it off the original toy. So if you weren't able to get this C.H.U.G version of Springer when it came out, yeah, I feel your loss, because this is really a nice Springer to have. And then they started going with the Masterpiece. Okay, I'm not gonna go over all of the Masterpiece, but this is what I ended up getting. You know, I know there was the Unique Toys Springer, which I didn't get because of those big, huge yellow boots. And then there was Mastermind Creations. I think Toy World did one too. But anyways, I was being very careful, and so eventually I got the FansToys version of Springer, which at that time I thought this was going to be the definitive version. Because look at that head. This head still looks really cool. But remember, this was still during the time when they were designing to resemble the character, but putting in some of their own detail. But you can see how they did try to, well, if you look at the original character design, you can see how they tried to put in a lot of the same detail. I mean, that is what FansToys is doing. The circle there, but I want to get to it with the X-Transbots. But anyways, here's the FansToys version of Springer. I never really liked those yellow on his back. Okay, and then I ended up getting the open and play version, which I have to tell you, this is really a nice toy. Meaning that this is a figure you can have fun transforming in all modes, and it looks good. It's just this first version, you know, has an issue with locking in there, and then that face being all smooth instead of having some angles to it. I don't remember, but they reissued it. I don't remember the company name, but they reissued it, so then that same mold looks much better, and then of course, like I said, there were the other versions. And now what I got today was the X-Transbots version of Springer, and oh man, there's so much to say. I don't know where to begin, but I'll first start off by saying X-Transbots is consistent. They do make their figures to look really good, because when you look at it, it does look like the cartoon. And I was just kind of going over it. I mean, they did a much better job of all the details than FansToys. I'm not going to go over all of the details, but you know, if you just compare it to the cartoon, this little rectangle shape is there, not so much on FansToys, and then this little dome is more prominent, which it is on X-Transbot, but not so much on FansToys. Even the details on the legs, on the thighs, that rectangular shape with the lines, you can see even the arms, the forearms with those three stripes, and the angle. I can go on and on. You know, the circle on his shoulder, and X-Transbot, you know, look at that. And that. So I'm not going to go over all of the details, but just confirming that X-Transbot does make their toys look really good, like the cartoon. So, you know, if that's what you're after, then, you know, X-Transbot's a good choice. But now, as far as the engineering and toy, that's always a problem. Now, that's what I wanted to get into with this. Now, does this X-Transbots version of Springer have the same design flaws and issues? Well, I'm gonna say yes, because you do have to bend and you know, plastic over plastic to transform it. However, this is the big difference that I notice. The reason why they can get away with it, and the reason why this figure seems a little bit more solid, is because, you know, they thickened the plastic pieces, so you're not trying to manipulate parts that with thin plastic that are prone to breakage. So one example I'm giving is like foam boards. You know, if you get like a really thin one, like a 1/8 inch foam board versus a 1/4 or 1/2, that's what I'm talking about. The thickness of the plastic makes a big difference. And so that's what I noticed with this figure that X-Transbots did. It's the same kind of design and stuff, and I could feel the same kind of plastic, but you see, that's what I'm talking about. It's just thicker, so it's not, you know, prone to breakage, but it's still, you know, a lot of same designs that I don't like a lot of pins. Now I gotta really point out this foot. This foot is not very well designed, because what's holding this foot up, and I think it's gonna wear over time, is I don't like how there's a pin in there, so that's gonna loosen up. He's gonna tip over, and then it's only attached by this let me see if I can open this. So, yeah, see, as soon as I do that, you're losing some. Look at that. It's only being held up by that one piece. And what sucks is, you know, it can wear, so that's not very good. But in order to help it stand, you need this back piece to kind of level the front and back. So it needs to, this is not really good design here, but I'm trying to do this all with one hand so you can see. But yeah, okay. It has to be like that, because now when you look at it, that's basically how it's holding. So a front and a back. That's not really stable in my opinion. And I guess here's a good example of what I'm talking about. See, it's all designed the same, but it's just the plastic's a little bit thicker. See, so that's how they're able to get away with it. That's how this figure is holding up, because that's what I notice is X-Transbots, the design, engineering, and all that is still the same. It's just it's the plastic parts are thicker. So I'm trying to get this to tab back in with one hand. Let's see. This tab goes in. Okay. We gotta get this bottom one, gotta give it a good squeeze. So, yeah, I wanted to point that out because I'm still trying to figure out how I feel, because, you know, now that they use thicker plastic, you can get away with it, and this figure's holding up. But like I was pointing out, the design are still not very good, so I don't know what's going to happen if you keep transforming this. But I'll tell you, I like the way it looks, and that's my preference. I I really want things to look cartoon accurate, and there's no question X-Transbots version is definitely better than FansToys in my opinion. But FansToys feels like a more sturdy, solid figure. So this is still hard to decide. Which one do you prefer? Yeah, was that it? I think that was all I wanted to share. But there was another figure I didn't mention, the Legends, which was the Mech FansToys did their version of a Springer, which I think is really cool, but unfortunately I didn't get it because I don't want to start a whole nother collection. You know, when I have G1, the C.H.U.G, the remake, the War for Cybertron, and then the Masterpiece, and then the Legend Scale. So, but yeah, I think I'll end here. This is my collection of Springer over the years. I really like this X-Transbots. You know, so I am looking forward to now their Ultra Magnus and their RC and Rodimus. So we'll see. So that's it.